This time, I'd like to call the Town of Pierson regular council meeting to order for Tuesday, July the 21st at 6:30 p.m. Yvonne, would you please do a roll call?
Yes, sir. Mayor Grayliner?
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Robert Greenland?
Here.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Here.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson? Here. Councilwoman Brandy Pierson? Here. Town Attorney Scott Simpson?
Here.
Town Planner Mark Brett?
Here.
Deputy Clerk Ron Smith?
Here.
Bush County Sheriff is present?
All right. Lenny, would you please give us an invocation?
Gladly, sir.
Thank you.
Let us pray. Dear Lord, we come to you tonight with great thanks for our ability to gather here tonight and to enjoy this beautiful, precious town. Dear Lord, I ask that you continually bless our residents and all that may pass through, and please bless anyone involved in the inner workings of our great town. Dear Lord, I ask that you please guide and inspire us to make the best decisions for our precious town as a whole, and I ask these things in your great name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lenny. Would everybody stand for the pledge, please?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First item of business tonight is the minutes from our last regular meeting on July the 7th, 2026. Has everyone had an opportunity to look over those?
Yes, sir.
Does anybody have any additions or deletions they would like? No, sir. Mayor would entertain a motion regarding
Move to
that.
approve the minutes from the regular meeting July 7th, 2026.
Motion on the floor by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson to approve our regular meeting minutes from July the 7th, 2026. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Brandy Pierson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried. Move on to item number 5, new business. First item of new business is resolution 2026-06. It's the solid waste initial assessment by Deputy Clerk Ryan Smith, and I think our attorney's going to read the title of the resolution.
Yeah, resolution number 2026-06 by title only for first and only reading. Resolution of the Town of Pierson, Florida relating to solid waste collection and disposal services, providing for the imposition and collection of an annual non-ad valorem assessments to fund the costs incurred by the town in providing such solid waste services, estimating the solid waste service cost to be funded by the non-ad valorem assessments in the fiscal year commencing October 1st, 2026, and the amount to currently due for the provisions of services for the prior fiscal year, describing the method of calculating the solid waste assessments, directing preparation of a preliminary non-ad valorem assessment roll, establishing a public hearing to consider imposition and collection of the solid waste non-ad valorem assessments, directing the provision of notice and certain other matters in connection therewith, and providing an effective date. As we discussed last meeting when we did second reading of the ordinance that created assessments in general, we said we'd be bringing back the document that creates the mechanism to start the process for the solid waste assessment. This does not set the solid waste assessment, it sets the cap, what it can be. And it provides in here that on September 14th at 6:30 p.m., you will have the public hearing to actually set the final solid waste assessment. And it goes through the process, a lot of descriptions in here of the area, and Ryan can go through the details of how it's all been calculated. But just so we're clear, this deals only with one solid waste. 2, it does not set it. It sets the maximum, and we have to give this to the property appraiser so he can then include that on the trim notice along with the date of our public hearing. And this will then show up on the tax bill to collect. Now, the first year will be higher than subsequent years because the first year will be about 1 year and about 7 months, because we started with that new contractor about 7 months before this next fiscal year starts. So this is going to retroactively collect for 7 months plus collect for the first year. And I believe people will get the benefit, but if you pay your taxes early, you get an early discount on paying your taxes if you pay them before the end of November. That also applies to the assessment. After this first year, the assessment will drop down because it will only be for a 12-month period of time, not a 19-month period of time. So with that, Ryan, you can...
Scott, let me ask you, he's got September 14th as like a tentative date, but can we actually do that during our normal budget and trim meeting? Or does it have to be its own separate meeting?
It does not have to be its own separate meeting. It can be, I would think it would be during your normal budget and trim
Or
time.
could we just do it, set a meeting for the same day and maybe tackle the solid waste and then do? Because rather than do it on the 14th, we set our meetings earlier tonight for the 9th and the 23rd or something like that of
Okay.
September.
Well, what we could also do is change that tonight to
That's
the
what I
9th.
mean, so,
If you want to change, I wouldn't adopt this with the 14th and then change it to the 9th.
Right.
If you want to change it to the 9th, let's just go ahead and make that as an amendment.
I would-
And make that to the 9th. Or you could do the second one too, the 20th, whichever day you want. I don't really care.
probably the earlier the better, right? Yeah, I would say probably the 9th, and then,
Okay.
because I don't think there's really a lot for us to discuss on
Date
the
set on there.
trash.
What days?
It is, let's see, I just saw it.
It's on page 5, under section 2.03, public hearing.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So I would just change that to the first day, the 9th.
Then we need to change it to 5:01, correct? Instead of 6:30?
Well, let's do it.
You might want to set it at the same time because you don't want to get done with the other things and have to wait.
Right.
Can they both be set at the same time?
Yeah,
Or do they just have to
absolutely.
wait until?
Yeah, that's fine.
So let's just call that 5:01,
Yeah.
5:01 on the 9th, correct?
5:01 on September 9th.
Okay.
5:01.
5:01 p.m. on September 9th. Okay. We need to vote on this tonight.
You need to vote on the resolution tonight, yes.
Yeah. And it's only
One reading, yep.
Yeah. All right, does anybody have any other questions on that other than the date and time which we've changed?
Okay, so I included a little, it's a lot of numbers, but this is a breakdown of the calculation of what would be charged. So as you can see, it's 7 months from the current fiscal year that we're in, because we started in March, so you have to fund 7 months from March to September. And then it would be the following 12 months for next fiscal year, so you're talking about 19 months of trash service. Plus, I included the administrative costs, so that would be the attorney fees, doing the assessment, the assessment roll, and I also included the containers on here. So I know we had discussion before about, do we include the containers? Does the town eat that cost? So just to give you an idea of a breakdown, I mean, the containers are going to be charged at, let's see, containers. It's $3.06 a month extra per resident for containers, or $36 a year. So, I mean, that, I'm going to let the council decide how they want to do the numbers, but the admin fees are even less than that. The admin fees are $19 for the year, or $162 per month. So, you can decide, should we include it all? Do you want to only include... I know the reason we were concerned in the beginning is we were charging them 19 months in that first year, so it was already going to be high. But the bulk of it is actually in the collection. The containers and the admin fees are pretty minimal.
Yeah.
So it's not going to shave a ton off of there if you do remove them. So the way I have it written in the ordinance right now is with everything. But if you were to vote to, take something off, now keep in mind, if you take something off, then I have to find it in the budget to cover it if the town's going to, like for the containers, for instance. So, but that was the only thing I haven't had a chance to talk to council about.
That's $56 annually.
Right, yeah, it is. It's $56.13 or $468 a month.
Right.
To include everything on the assessment. And then, like Scott said, next year you would drop down to, it would be something like $300 or $309 a year, because next year would basically just be the collection and then what minimal admin fees we had. So
It would only include a 12-month period, too.
And it would only include, from now on, it will just be for 1 year.
Right.
So what really hurt us there is that we switched in the middle of the year, which we had to because our contract was ending with GFL. So,
And per our charter or whatever, this was,
per our ordinance, we
Ordinance
were
was
supposed to have been
required.
doing it this way since like 1998, and we just,
Right.
it's never been done. But that was how we were supposed to be funding service in town, was through a non-ad valorem assessment. And we just never, it got built into the ordinance, and then the mechanism to create it and then the actual work to create it never got done. So, but also, and we've talked about this before, but just to reiterate, it's either everybody in town has trash service residentially or nobody does, because the days of finding a company that would come in and let you opt in
Right.
for only 540 cans those days are gone. Even GFL admitted that they were losing money. So even when GFL did the presentation with you, they were not going to renew that contract unless we did an assessment and charged everybody. So,
Well, the way it was in the past, they were dependent on each individual to pay if they were.
Well, and I think I've told you this before, but when I went back and looked through our old request for proposal documents, one of the questions that GFL asked initially was, can you guarantee that 100% of your residents will have trash service? And the answer that staff gave them at the time was yes. So in other words,
in 1998?
No. In 2016 or 2018, when we reviewed that we renewed that last contract with GFL. Otherwise, GFL would not have renewed it. But the deal was they were supposed to do the assessment then, and it never got done. So when GFL's contract ended, they were only serving about half the town. So they only had about 250 customers. So, and they only had 17 commercial customers. So anyway, if you have any questions about it, I think Scott kind of explained the 4% thing, but the reason it's cost plus 4% is because if you pay in November, then you get the discount, whereas if you pay late, you get, the extra percentage.
You pay the little extra.
Right.
If you pay your taxes early,
You just pay.
you always get
Yeah.
a discount if you pay.
Right.
This is a pretty big sock in the gut to a lot of people, paying 19 months of this initially. I don't know, but what maybe we shouldn't think about eating the cost of the containers.
How much would that save?
$36.
$36.66 a year per resident.
That's only $3 a month.
Right. Yeah, it comes out to $3.06 a month. Like I said, I looked at all of that because, we talked about ways that we could try to shave some off of that, but the bulk of it is the collection. It's just because it's 19 months of collection
Right.
that it's high. So
And it's just this year. Then it
it's
goes
just,
back to
it's the
just-
initial,
It's the initial tax bill.
Yeah.
Then it goes back to basically what we were already paying GFL.
Correct.
yeah, we paid, so GFL customers at the time were paying $66 a quarter, which worked out to like 22. I want to say it was like $22.07 a month. When we switched to GFL, that went to $24.92. When we switched to FCC. But if you remember, when GFL came, their rate was going up too. So the difference was 46 cents between the two of them per month.
Right.
So, that's what about, like, for instance, this month it's $26.01 a month for trash service. With the additional benefit that you get bulk pickup, you get yard debris, you get stuff that GFL just didn't offer us. And I will tell you, the bulk pickup is nice because they take 4 tires per week. If you put tires out, they take a mattress or refrigerator. I think people have really enjoyed being able to do that.
Yeah.
Anybody have any other further discussion?
Well, I hate to put an extra burden on the citizens of the town, but we've got to remember that it's a very good possibility we're going to lose a lot of our revenue starting in the next fiscal year. And it's, $3.06 a month
Right.
is all this costing us.
Right.
I think we should pass it all on.
I think we should too. That's fine.
Administrative cost and
Everything.
and everything, just like it's wrote out here in front of us. Yeah, it's going to be a hard pill to swallow this first year because it's 19 months, almost pretty close to 2 years.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but after that,
But after that,
it's going to boil down to just a 12-month period.
Those people haven't paid any collection bill for 7 months, too.
Right.
That's true.
They didn't.
That's true.
We kind of tried to tell residents as they came in and talked to us about it, just tuck that $22 a month away somewhere, because normally you would be paying GFL for the half of the town that was paying GFL, So yes, you're right. For 7 months, they have not paid their.
Since they started
trash.
picking up, nobody's paid a penny.
Right.
So they're kind of going to have to pay for the service they've already been getting.
Exactly.
Basically, right. They've already gotten 7 months of service.
All right. So that's
And I would
Over
encourage,
$140,
I would
okay.
encourage anybody who didn't have GFL, and, we've put this out, I sent a letter to the entire town, but if you didn't have trash service before and you need a can, please call us. For people that didn't previously have a can, we have them. We have recycle bins still available. You're paying for it, you might as well utilize it. If you've got junk in your yard or in your barn or whatever, 4 bulk items a week, haul it out to the curb. I know Mr. Johnny Spindler was so excited because he finally got rid of a TV that he's been trying to throw away for 2 years or something. So just take advantage of it.
Exactly.
Because you're going to pay for it.
We're
so,
paying for the service and take advantage of it.
Don't bury it or burn it. Just take advantage of it.
Is there anybody in the audience that has any questions on this? Yes, sir.
Pleasant Valley, 363 North Pine Street. This cost for the cans, is that the new cans, I guess?
Yes.
Is that a one-time thing? We're paying that every year?
It's a one-time. The way it was is we did a piggyback contract with the county, and the way that was written is the FCC assumed that everybody in the county already had a can. But when GFL left, they took a bunch of cans and recycle bins.
We did ours, they took our recycling.
Right. So our thing was, if you need it, it's a one-time thing, come get one. They have Town of Pierson on the side of them. Once everybody has one, if someone needs a replacement one, then FCC is actually responsible for replacing them. So it's just a one-time thing for us to
You buy a
an
can
initial one.
once,
Yeah.
and if somebody runs over and smashes it, then FCC's going to replace it.
Ryan, you're saying that this $33 will not be on next year's?
Correct.
correct.
It's just this year?
Just this year. 36.66.
36,
Yes. And to be honest with you, if we made you buy a can, the cans were like $56 a piece outright. So $36 if you come get a new one, you're saving there too.
Save about $20 roughly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
These are questions to go, sir. I'm sorry, can you repeat what
With everything, the first year is going to be $562.15.
Well, understand when he says the first year, that's a better way to refer to that is the first bill you're going to get.
Right, your first,
And that's actually going to cover 19 months.
19 months.
right.
12 months of starting October 1st all the way through September of next year, but there has been no bills issued since March, I think, of this year, so that's 9 months all the way through September.
And that's if you paid at the very last minute and you didn't get your 4% discount from the county. If you pay your stuff early and you get the 4% discount, it's $540.53.
How much was it this week?
And then the following year was 307.
For Volusia County, if we would have done it the prior year, yes, it would have been like $300. Oh, I think it was $299.03, so $300 basically.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions on this? Yes, ma'am.
Melissa Thorne, unincorporated of D-Land. I have FCC, y'all, and I've had it since I moved here 7 years ago, and they've been really good. I mean, really, they're really good service. They pick up everything. I never have to ask them twice. They always pick it up. And I've had barren stuff get in and take out my recycle bins and tear open my garbage cans, and they've come and replaced them, no problem. I called them, they've replaced them like that day or the very next day. So I can't say enough good things about it. And also at the county council today, funny thing, y'all are talking about this, they actually approved an increase with FCC for the unincorporated areas of Volusia, and it's going to go up exactly $6 a year, so $26 to $27. It's per month, so it comes out to like $303 a year. So that's from the county today.
Right, and I'm glad she brought that up, thank you, because these numbers are based on the county's numbers, because remember, we're under a piggyback contract.
Right.
So this is your initial resolution. This could still change by the next meeting if the county council were to vote for something different. I don't think that was going to happen. It was whatever FCC recommended. So it went basically from $24.92 a month to $26.01 is what it went to. And so as long as the county okayed those numbers, that's what this is based on.
Right.
And that includes the tipping fees for the disposal that goes to the county and all that stuff. So, but yeah, just so you're aware, that's where, if anyone wanted to know where these numbers come from, because we piggyback with the county,
Right.
whatever FCC and the county negotiate as their monthly rate is what Pierson also pays.
It's going to be the same. It's going to be the same numbers
For
that
the
taxed on
base, yeah,
to people out in the county.
right, for the base collection, So we're adding on the containers and the administrative costs, but your base collection every year is the same as the county's base collection, so.
And FCC also said they do have an actual recycling facility on property, and they actually do recycle the plastic and the glass and all of that. I asked specifically because I heard rumor that they don't, and it goes right into the landfill. But they said that they do, so.
Yeah, they actually lease the land from the county, but their facility is there or something.
Yeah.
There's like a,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody have anything else? Nothing else? Call for a motion.
I make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-06, solid waste initial assessment,
With the changes.
with the changes made at the
Dates and time, right? For the
Yes.
meeting. Yep. Everybody understand Vice Mayor's motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is made by Vice Mayor Robert F. Green, seconded by Councilwoman Lenny Richardson. Yvonne, would you go roll call vote on this, please?
Yes, sir. Councilwoman Brandy Peterson?
Yes.
Councilwoman Lenny Richardson?
Yes.
Councilman Jimmy Anderson?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Robert Friedman?
Yes.
Mayor Gray Leonard?
Yes. Thank you. Let the record show that this resolution 2026-06 will pass. All right. Moving on to item number 5B, going to turn this over to our town attorney as a discussion on the Volusia County Sheriff's contract.
As y'all recall, last year we entered into a one-year contract with the sheriff for reducing the services provided, therefore reducing the cost. That contract was for 1 year. It provided that in July we were to let them know if, our intent to renew, if we wanted to negotiate a new contract. We had talked and started a process to, the county funds their sheriff patrol services with something called an MSD, which is similar to an MSTU. It's a millage tax. And they can only levy that in the unincorporated area, and unless the local city approves them levying it within the incorporated area, and the county has to approve that, and then that gets incorporated into the county's MSTU or MSD tax that they use to pay for patrol services. Basically, we ran out of time to do that. There was more work, I think, than everybody thought was going to be required. It's never been done before in Volusia County. And we just had to get information to the Volusia County Sheriff, and I think there was just more work on the sheriff's part, because all we had to do was adopt an ordinance saying it was okay. But the sheriff and the county had a lot more work to do. So I asked them, I said, well, can we propose a one-year contract as if we were in the MSTU? You charge us that, whatever that number would be, and then you provide the service that you're going to provide if we do allow you to go to this new idea of funding it. And they looked into it, and the way their accounting system's set up and the way it works, they just weren't able to properly track the vehicles and the services and where they are being provided, and where, because it's still not a tax, it's still a contract fee, so they have to try associate the contract fee with the services being provided. And right now, because we have this, we are a separate contract area, and it would be treated differently because it would be based on as if it was a tax. So they just said they couldn't do it. So they came back with the same exact contract except for the increase of about 27,000. Is it about
560, 27,560.
Well, that's the fleet.
The total increase is 29,076, or about 19.4% over last year. Last year we paid 150, 168, and this year they want 179, 245.
What increase is that, did you say?
It's a $29,000 increase, 19.4%.
19%?
Yeah. And we've talked that if we're going to go into the MSTU, let them expand the MSCTU, we have to start that much earlier. And we really need to look at that after November, see how the election, this charter or the state constitutional amendment goes out. Because I made it very clear to the individual we were talking to that if that passes, kind of like all bets are off. And I said it very easily could be that Pierson doesn't renew the contract, and they don't allow you to levy the tax in our community, and the sheriff's just going to have to provide services. You all figure out how to pay for it. It's not really our problem. We got our own problems to deal with. So and they understood that. And I said, if that passes, all bets are off. If it doesn't pass, then I think it would be worth us looking into that option, because at least this past year we would have paid less than the contract amount, a few thousand, like 20-something thousand less, I think. That will be based on the millage rate that they levy and the assessed valuation, so that's how that would be calculated. Now, the reason, if that constitutional amendment passes, then I say all bets are off, is because all jurisdictions are going to have to be looking and say, how do we free up millage? And allowing the sheriff's MSD millage to be levied in our community, whatever millage rate they levy gets added to our millage rate for our 10 mil cap. So they will be using up some of our millage. So it doesn't help us at all for that to occur. That doesn't save us anything. Now the county is also, as I mentioned, looking into a fire assessment for their fire district. And they're looking into it for their unincorporated area, Pierson, and I think Oak Hill. That will save us millage, because right now, the fire district millage gets added to ours, millage rate for the 10 mil cap. If that gets switched to an assessment is not tax. That will not get added. And it will show up on the tax bill as an assessment, just like this last assessment y'all did for garbage, but it's not added to our 10 mil cap. So that's actually benefits us in terms of freeing up millage rate where you can collect money to offset other losses. But for purposes of tonight, what we're looking at is this is the contract they're proposing for 1 year with this one change. And I just told you kind of like the preview of coming attractions. If it passes, I've already kind of told them, I think the sheriff's is going to have to look really hard at how they provide services, because there may be other jurisdictions that say, we can't afford this. We just can't afford it, and we're not going to pay for it. We pay for it through our taxes already. You have a statutory obligation to provide service. We're not going to contract to provide enhanced service. But that's a decision. That's a policy decision y'all get to make. If it doesn't pass, then I think as a policy decision, y'all can look at the option of doing the MSD and expanding and allowing it into our community. And we can do that annually, or when we adopt that ordinance, we say how long it's for. It could be something that we set up and we approve every year, or maybe we approve it for 5 years and we review it every 5 years. That's a policy decision y'all get to make if we get to that point. So
I think too, when we started having these meetings with the sheriff, their question for us, because the county attorney has to be involved and the sheriff attorneys have to be involved. For us, it's fairly simple. I think for us, we just pass a resolution saying that the county's allowed to levy this MSTU on residents, but there's a lot more work for them to do on their end. So their question to me was, what's the latest we can get this information to the property appraiser to have this assessed on your residents' taxes? And I think they were thinking they had closer to budget or trim season, which is, August, September. Well, the property appraiser came back and said, no, we need it by June 15th because we shut the whole system down on June 15th. Well, then it was out the window. We were never going to get it done. At that point, we had like a month and a half before June 15th. So this is the solution, is in the interim do another year, and that gives us time to work on it. Like Scott said, it depends on what happens in November, but it still gives us time either way to figure out a different funding mechanism for the sheriff.
What was our total cost last year for the sheriff?
150, 168, 14.
What was it?
$150,168.14.
And what do they want this year?
This year they want 179, 245 even. Now keep in mind, it's 19% from last year's contract amount, but we're actually going to end up paying more, because remember we talked about they were going to do a true up after the first 2 years of the sheriff's contract, under the new, whatever it is, Amendment 10 or whatever. They were going to look at actual costs and see if those numbers went up or down. And if they went down, they said they'd give us a refund. If it went up, you're responsible for the overage. Well, they have been keeping track of that. So we really owe like $24,000 extra from 25 that we didn't pay. They rolled it over last year because we were in the middle of this whole contract negotiation thing. So I think what this number, this 179 number, is trying to get closer to their actual costs, so that when they do the true ups for next year, you don't have these huge discrepancies. Because it's about $4 or $5 grand a quarter that it went higher than what they charged us. So I think that's why there's such a big gap there, because she's trying to make up for that.
Such a big increase.
Right. Because if you actually added the true up amount to this 150, it's really more like 170 something.
Yeah.
So it's closer to the actual number, And I will have to pay that by the end of this budget year, which is why I had left the police budget. We originally budgeted for the full contract amount, And that was why, because we didn't know where we were going to end up after the true-up and all that stuff.
We've got to pay the 24,000
Yes.
is true-up?
Yes, it's basically 2 years' worth of true-up.
I got you.
That we haven't paid. Because they were supposed to invoice us the one last year, and then because we had changed the contract and we were having all these discussions, they just kind of put it on the books and held it there and didn't send us an invoice for it.
I got you.
But it's still a running total that they've been keeping, so. And I get a spreadsheet every quarter from Trudy where she shows the breakdown. So anyway, that's why there's a huge discrepancy between those two.
So that really isn't a 19% increase when you figure what.
Not in actual
What we
numbers,
actual-
no. If you added the true-ups to this 150, it's probably maybe 10%, 8%, something like that. Which is about what the sheriff's contract used to go up every year, was 8 to 10%. So it's in line with what it
So
usually
we're
is.
looking at about 10% increase.
Probably. And again, that'll depend on the true-up for Q3 and Q4, so.
More like 8, 6.
Yeah, it's less than 10%.
10% would be 17,000.
Yeah.
You're going
So
up
it's
9,
probably
a little more than 5%.
8.9 or something like that, maybe. What do you guys
Okay,
think?
so we need to decide on, and this is for, this next fiscal year.
Correct, this would start
Yeah.
10/1.
Well, I knew when the start of this contract, it was going to work out everything. A lot of people panicked and was concerned, which everybody's got a right to be concerned about anything. But I knew this was going to work for us, and I think we should consider agreeing to this, to the terms of this contract and re-up with them. That's just my opinion.
Anybody else have any thought on that?
I just don't see where we're getting any quote-unquote enhanced services for this money. I mean, no responses for noise ordinance calls, people speeding around town like,
We have had a definite lack of response to services in some cases
yeah.
on some noise complaints. And I mean, the noise complaint, I think she and I are both talking about happened down on Hagstrom Road. And there was numerous calls made, and nobody ever showed up to the resident that called in the complaint. I don't know exactly how the music got turned off, but I know it did. That was a concern of mine too.
I can say pretty certainly that next year something's going to change. I don't know what, but I think next year it's going to be different. You know, regardless of what comes out of that constitutional amendment, I think we have a game. You know, even if that amendment doesn't pass, we have a plan going forward, which I think could show, excuse me, more savings to the city. So hopefully we can pursue that opportunity if the amendment doesn't go forward. If the amendment passes, there'll be a lot of changes. So I think the structure of our relationship with the sheriff is a pretty high chance it's going to change next year one way or another. Just the reality of it.
Yes, ma'am, do you have a question?
The day that you were talking about where there was lack of response, was that on the day that they're supposed to be patrolling here? Or was that on the day that they were not patrolling here? Or are they still only patrolling like 3 days a week?
I cannot answer that question. I'm not sure if it was on a assigned patrol day or it wasn't.
But regardless, they're still,
Regardless, they did not respond in a timely manner.
but regardless if they were on duty or not, the off deputy or the out of An unincorporated deputy would come to that call.
That's
what
correct.
the tax bill money goes for.
Yeah, right.
That we all pay on our tax bill.
Whether they were here or not.
This is for
kinda
enhanced
irrelevant.
service,
They-
which
they
is
should have
above that.
Responded to the call more timely. I mean, if you were having a problem at your house and they use the excuse, well, we weren't on duty that day in Pierson, I don't believe that's going to cut it.
No, I agree with that, but if it was a day that we're not getting enhanced services, and there's a noise complaint, and they were saying civility springs on a missing person or a car wreck or something like that, noise complaint does not trump that.
I did not hear anything to the sheriff's office stating that they were out on another more important call. Let me just say that.
And I have another question too. When all this started and stuff, I tried to research what was going on and what the options were and stuff. It's my understanding that when we incorporated it in the charter, whatever you call it, it states that a municipality has to provide water, not water, but services to its residents. And law enforcement is one of those services. So I'm really confused how y'all are saying that we still pay for services from the sheriff's office.
You pay on your tax bill.
Taxes.
And,
Not that. We do not pay for that.
Yes, you do.
yes, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
Yes, you do.
Can somebody explain it to me? Because
Bring your tax bill up here.
Yeah, right now the sheriff has two.
It's under a setback.
My understanding is the sheriff has two ways of funding sheriff operations. They do a countywide tax that provides funding for countywide services. And then for patrol services, they do the MSD I was referring to because they're only patrolling the unincorporated areas. And then local jurisdictions, local cities, they have their own police department. They levy in their millage to pay for their local police department. And there's 4 cities, I believe, that contract with the county to provide patrol services within the incorporated area. Pierson, Oak Hill, DeBerry, and Deltona are the 4 that contract with the sheriff and pay a contract fee. And so, but that is that's paid through our taxes, because we collect the revenue and we pay that fee to the sheriff. But the county does levy 2 taxes, and you would pay for if you're within the city, you would pay one of those taxes. My understanding that's a countywide tax.
But that's going to be like that where we're just part of the county kind of, where if we have a call and it's not on an enhanced service day, then our call is stacked with and prioritized with all the calls that are going around, versus if it's an enhanced service day, we're going to have faster response because there's a deputy that's assigned to respond to ours. Is it correct or am I wrong?
Well, that's not
That's how
bad.
it should be, but that's
Yeah.
not how it's been.
But you're
Because
correct.
we had a
Mr.
call here, and they were in Astor at another
Right,
call.
that was
So
where I
that's,
But that is correct. They're supposed to have a deputy here for the number of hours that we're paying for. And it used to be we paid for 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that was cost prohibitive. We negotiated something lesser with a lesser cost. So less time, less cost. Now, what we're talking about is if we go into if we authorize the sheriff to levy an MSD, which is it's a tax that the county levies to provide municipal services, which would be patrol services. It's the same thing they levy to the unincorporated area properties. If we authorize that and they go through the process, then we would be included as part of the unincorporated area for patrol services, as opposed to however they treat us now, where we have a contract where we have deputies here certain days a week, certain hours. But the county does have a statutory obligation. They are the only law enforcement agency that provides services has a jurisdiction throughout the entire county. So they have jurisdiction, and they call it concurrent jurisdiction. If you, like with DeLand, their deputy has just as much jurisdiction to enforce the law in DeLand as the DeLand police officers have. So,
Anything else? Are you ready to make your motion?
When do we, how soon? Does the sheriff need this tonight?
we were supposed to let them know by the end of July if we wanted to renegotiate. That's why we put it on for tonight to say, yes, we want to renegotiate. You're not, it will have to come back with a new agreement for y'all to approve the agreement.
This is, Bobby, what this basically is this is a green light to the sheriff that if we approve this tonight, they will start drafting the contract with the same terms as last year, just the new rate. And then that will have to still come back to you and be approved and signed
The contract.
before October 1.
The contract's going to have to come back.
Right.
What did we say it was, about an 8.9%?
It's
Something like that.
Well, it's going to depend on what Q3 and Q4's true-ups are. So we don't really know yet. But like I said, it's usually somewhere between 8 and 10% at the end of everything.
I come up with 5.3.
Yeah, I was going to say it's about 5% too.
Okay, so that's not,
If our true cost was 170 and we're going to 179,
Right.
yeah,
that's about 5.3%
about a 5%
increase.
increase.
Well, I'm going to make a motion to approve the proposal.
To go forward with the appraisal.
The Volusia County Sheriff's Office has proposed to the city of Pierson.
To bring back a final contract with us.
Correct.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor by Vice Mayor Robert F. Greenland to approve the proposal, which is going to allow the sheriff's office to bring us back a contract for the upcoming year. Is that correct? Is there a second? I'll second it. Seconded by Councilmember Jimmy Anderson. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
So carried.
Opposed?
Do what?
I didn't hear everyone say aye. You need to see who opposed.
Aye. I said aye.
Aye, yeah.
Yeah, we said
Okay,
it.
I thought I did.
I didn't think I heard you.
No, we didn't.
I thought I did.
I
Okay.
got to get my hearing checked. Oh, the ear infection has better hearing than I do.
I thought I did. If not,
It wasn't a good eye, but I said aye.
It was a soft eye.
Yeah.
I understand. Okay,
All right.
we've asked to have item number 5C tabled at the request of the person that's going to be under item number 5C. So that's going to be tabled to our next meeting, if that's approved by everybody. Does anybody have a
Move the
problem
table.
with that?
Move the table. Item 5C.
Okay, motion on the floor to table item number 5C. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Brandy Peterson. All those in favor of the table say aye.
Aye.
So carried. That's at a request of the person on the agenda here. Moving on to item number 5.6, I'm going to pass up on my updates and reports. And Bobby, you have anything you'd like to add? or
Just, I brought it up at the, at our prior meeting tonight, this evening, our workshop. I do have plans lined up for our Volusia League of Cities hosting dinner on Thursday evening at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
I look very forward to that. And other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Jimmy?
I gave Dustin a call earlier today and told him to go out there on North Road and back in towards the ditch and knock some of that tall stuff.
Thank you. That was on my list.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he called me about, I guess about 1:30, 2 o'clock, said he went out there and, which he did, you can see where he backed in there and knocked a lot of it down.
Okay.
And I thought about telling him to spray it, but all that does is kill all our grass that's holding that sides together, and we don't need to spray it.
If you kill all the vegetation.
We already had
these
to
state
replace
laws.
that stuff as it is on the side of the road.
Yeah.
We don't need to kill the grass right there.
Anything
That's all I
else?
had.
All right. Councilmember Lena Richardson.
I just have one thing. I got a text from one of the citizens regarding some of the cities in Florida are trying to ban PRCA rodeos. And they asked,
They're trying to ban the rodeos?
yes, rodeos. St. Pete has banned all rodeos. And they're asking for support from cities and municipalities to write the governor and let them know that we're in favor of sanctioned rodeos. So,
What was the reasoning?
Cruelty
Animal
probably
cruelty.
to animals.
Oh, Lord.
I mean, I did it with some of the Mexican rodeos. Some of that stuff is brutal. It's horrible. I can't even watch it on YouTube. But a PRCA sanctioned rodeo, there's a vet on site. I mean, those animals are
Yeah.
cared for as much as an Olympic dressage horse. You know what I'm saying? So if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to construct a letter and on our letterhead and send it to the governor
In support of the
In support
rodeo.
in support of rodeo.
In support of the rodeo.
Of
Yes.
rodeos, yes.
Yes, I
Sanctioned
agree.
rodeos,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, that's not.
Right.
I agree.
I agree with that.
That's all.
Thank you.
The
Councilmember
only
Brandy
thing I
Peters.
had was the ditches, and mainly because North Road was just, I mean, it was way high.
Okay.
But what did we ever do? Because we approved like a whole thing with the county before Lewis left for all this
They own-
bat wing mowing that we were gonna get done, and they've never done any of it.
You'd probably have to go back and talk to whoever's in charge there now because he's gone. So,
So when they leave, we have to start over?
Start all over, sounds like, probably.
Do we have the new guy's name? Because I will call him.
I mean, I've been talking to Mark Robick, but I don't think he actually replaced Lewis.
Well, he can tell me
In
who
fact, I was told by an employee that they might just be trying to get rid of that position altogether, and they would work under the public works person over in New Smyrna. So
The
with
county
all
was
this stuff,
actually up here yesterday.
with all this
Doing a
stuff
lot of
going
mowing.
on.
There is a hiring freeze.
Mowing their
correct.
county
There's-
stuff.
county stuff,
Right.
yeah.
So just so you know,
Remember, I
there
mean,
is.
it was like last year this time when we
Yeah.
approved for them to come
Right.
through and do a lot of ditch work that we don't have a bat wing
And
to
then
do.
they did one little area and then.
All they did was
came back,
spray
right?
when.
They
some-
sprayed and
yeah.
they cleaned out some stuff on Washington when they replaced that culvert over
Yeah.
there. Like Mark just said, the county is under a hiring freeze, just in case anyone hasn't heard. They've canceled some projects and put some projects on hold because of the looming, property tax thing on the ballot. So, who we're dealing with there now, I don't know. Even the library here, they're down a person and they can't hire somebody. So I don't know if anyone knows, but the library is no longer open on Saturday here because they can't hire anybody to.
And one of the projects they canceled was the
They also-
parking lot. for the
yeah, they
library.
Yeah,
canceled the
I
project.
knew
Yeah,
that.
that's no longer gonna happen,
Yeah.
or not, anytime soon, for sure.
Yeah.
The playground and the parking lot.
Yeah, it's done.
So if the county's not willing to do our ditches, do we contract out with some of these guys with tractor services to come in? Because we don't have a bat wing to mow the ditches, right? And that's why they're the way they look, because, I mean, I'm just wondering, where do we go there?
But you need at least a bi-wing to do.
Yeah,
to
bat
do
wing or
ditches.
bat wing or
Yeah,
something, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's just something we're gonna have to,
That's something we just have.
we're gonna have to look at.
Yeah, I'll call the smart guy at the county and see what he says and then go from there.
Well, let's see what the county can do, and if they can't do anything, then we're gonna have to look at a contractor to
Right.
do it, because we don't have a buy wing or
Right.
bat wing to.
And we just
that's
spent our
necessary
20
do
grand to
with.
buy one, giving it more money to the sheriff's department, who has enough money to put up billboards in town square in New York City for cops. So I'm really not happy about that. So that was my way of saying it. Thank you very much. That's all I got.
Anything else? Brandy?
No, I'm good. That's all.
Okay. Scott, do you have any updates for us?
No, Mayor.
Okay. Mark, do you have anything?
Not really. I will be here August 6th, meet with people, talk to them about their land use and zoning, 9 o'clock,
You're here to be here from 9 to 11?
9 to 11:30.
9 to 11:30.
You say August 6th? August 6th is my next date. Just by way of update, we have received the site plan for the helipad. So, as you know, they're setting up to do temporary, but they've also made their submittal for review, and that's in review now between Zev Cohen and the fire marshal.
That's for the permanent pad, right?
Yes.
Anything else?
Nothing else.
I have one more thing.
Okay.
Have we sent out the RFP for the auditor, Ryan?
Yes.
Any responses?
No, they've got till the 30th? The 30th at 2 o'clock. So, a lot of them don't submit it till a day or two before, so. I know we've been in contact with James Moore, and they've asked a bunch of questions, so I'm assuming we'll probably get that. Scott, that might be a question for you. If we only get one respondent, do we still have to have all of the meetings?
I mean,
Or are we just kind of
yeah, I've
going
always
with what we
wondered that
got?
too, because how do you rank one?
Right.
You know?
I mean, we could still meet to open them and say we got this one
Yeah, you'd have to
response,
open 'em,
but,
yeah.
but then after that, I think we could just do the one meeting approving it.
I would think so
So
too.
they got till July the 30th?
The 30th at 2, and then we're supposed to meet at 3. I'll send out an agenda for that Thursday. But we're supposed to meet at 3 to open whatever responses we get and announce them.
You might want to ask small cities like Lake Helen, Oak Hill, who does their audits, and make sure those individuals have got a copy, those firms.
James Moore does everybody.
I was going to say, it's all James Moore.
Is it all?
I'm pretty sure it is.
I don't think James Moore doesn't do Lake Helen, because James Moore is Lake Helen's CFO.
Okay.
So I know they don't do Lake Helen. It's a different company.
I know I put it online, and there's like 60 people downloaded the plans for it.
Okay.
So I'm sure they're all listed on those websites like Open Bids and Demand Star, but I mean, I can ask and email it directly to them just out of curiosity.
Can ask people Thursday night who their auditors are.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
That's right.
That's a fun dinner.
There you go. Perfect,
Yeah,
great idea.
I don't know if they want to talk about that.
Just saying.
Don't hurt to ask.
Yeah. Ryan, do you have anything? Or Mom? Anybody in the audience have anything they'd like to bring up? Yes, ma'am?
Musical question on Pierson. Their case not Pierson, I can say this tonight. I would like to suggest that we dedicate the tennis courts and walk courts to Chris and Mary Kay Hansen, but I have no idea how to start that, so that's my suggestion.
Okay. Anything else? Yes, ma'am.
Melissa Thorne, running for Volusia County Council District 1. I was at the county council meeting this afternoon, and they approved a $17 million budget for advertising. So the fiscal irresponsibility continues.
How big a budget for advertising?
$17 million.
The council did?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Yeah, that's fiscal insanity. Also, let me see, there was the opportunity for a resolution establishing a repeat domestic abuser database and providing for inclusion of certain records within that database for those who meet the criteria of a convicted repeat domestic abuser per court records. Your current county council member, Don Dempsey, was the only one to vote no, just so you know. It passed. That's it.
Anything else? Anybody else have anything? Last call. Being no further business, meeting adjourned. We do have more business. That's my bad. Thank you, Vice Mayor. I have some announcements. Next regular council meeting schedule is Tuesday, August 4th, 2026 at 6:30, and on Tuesday, August 18th at 6:30 p.m. And there's a scheduled Planning Commission meeting on July the 28th, 2026 at 6 p.m. Is there anything else, sir?
That's it, brother.
All right. Being no further